and welcome to The Bond, where we connect you with experts who connect you to nature. So, have you ever thought about rainy days? And sometimes when you're in traffic on those rainy days, there are those cute little decals that are on the back of the rearview mirror of the car in front of you. Have you ever seen the ones that look like a little outline of a dog, where the windshield wiper actually swishes back and forth and is a cute little mimicking of their tail wagging? And doesn't that make you think about how animated dogs are? And then the next step is how agile dogs are. And can you take the dog that you have at home, the ordinary house dog that you love so much, that's a member of the family, and teach them something called agility? And what is agility training anyway? Well, back in 1977, apparently Crufts Dog Show over in England actually started in a little sideshow of some agility sport in order to keep people entertained in between formal judging competitions. By 1979, they actually started introducing some competitions in order to make it a little bit more formalized. And by 1980 and 1986, the USDAA, or the United States Dog Agility Association, was formed. And after that, the AKC actually picked them up, and by 1999 we had our first AKC sponsored MACH, or Master Agility Championship, title that was issued here in the United States. So over the years, they've increased the difficulty of the program, and they have introduced a variety of different regulations and guidelines and things that make it very challenging to compete. So finding someone who actually has the skills and understands the nuances and how judging occurs and what's needed for your dog and you as a team in order to win these competitions is really hard to find. But we are lucky today to meet with Betty, who owns Betty's Boot Camp in Southern California. And today we're going to understand how her expertise can help you open up a whole new world for you and that adorable pet that you have at home. Now, Betty actually started out with being exposed to a variety of dogs when she was younger. And one day she decided, you know what, I wonder if I can train one of my own dogs. And when she found success in that, she opened up the door to a lifelong passion, which has now manifested itself in Betty's Boot Camp. And that is the ability to train agility. So with that, I would like to introduce our speaker for the day and to understand a little bit more about the magic that she's been able to bottle and can share with all of you in her methodology. And let's just see if we can pick her brain a little bit, okay? So let me see if I can get her. Betty, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out today in order to help share pearls of wisdom. And I'd love it if you could just start off by giving us a little bit more of history about the first time that you really felt inspired and that passion to follow on the course of agility and to learn and to hone your methodology. Could you give us a little insight into that?
Yeah. So when I really caught the agility bug, if you call it that.
Exactly.
I had been a dog trainer for almost 15 years. I've taught basic obedience and private sessions, and I decided I wanted to try beginner agility class through the city where I live, just because I thought it would be a fun activity and exercise to do with my dog.
So I was just sort of wondering, have you ever had an experience where agility training has actually not just helped the dog, but also helped the human, the handler?
I think that it brings confidence to the dog and builds the bond with the owner as well, because the owner is accomplishing something as well by teaching their dog to get through the obstacles and gain the confidence. So I think both the dog and the human benefit from it.
Well, I think that's fantastic. So when you're going back to saying that you caught the agility bug and then started on this path, did that involve getting any sort of certifications or specializing in anything like that? Could you talk a little bit about?
I didn't get a special certification. I had already been a dog trainer, like I said, for a while, and I took some courses and classes.
Yeah.
But I did take agility through the city with my own dog 2 separate occasions before I started doing it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I didn't actually have to get a certification to teach beginner agility.
So what's the process of getting your everyday household dog into the competitive circuit?
So, I mean, by signing up for a course, you could either, there's oh gosh, there's many, out in Southern California, we have quite a few different locations that if you really wanted to compete, you could go and learn to compete, get the expertise in that. By going to basically not so much my course right now. Mine's a beginner. I have all the obstacles for the dogs to be taught, and I can help them learn that.
Okay.
But a lot of these other locations, they'll have like where the dog will just focus on one thing, like learning the tunnel or learning the jump, until they get an expert at that and then move on. So competition is a little different than just taking a class such as mine or through the city.
So could you explain a little bit about that? Do you offer classes with more than one person? Do you make house calls to private lessons, or how does that work?
Yes, I can do private lessons. I've done dog birthday parties where somebody has said, I'd like to get the agility equipment and do like a dog birthday party. And so I've done that and hosted that before.
That sounds adorable. How do you put together a dog birthday party? I just have to ask.
I mean, with the dog agility equipment, you bring the equipment, and then they provide. Usually, the owner just decided to bring their cake and party hats and have their other dog friends there. So.
Oh, so do you have to actually go find a doggy friendly cake from a doggy bakery?
There are dog friendly cakes out there at the bakeries.
Oh,
yeah, the dog bakeries.
That is fantastic. I love that. Well, that sounds like a picture perfect moment. So have you ever had to make a dog pose for a camera shot? I would think something like a birthday party would be one of those things.
I definitely have, and put hats on dogs and glasses and everything. Yeah.
So what tricks do you give to people who want to maybe help their dog pose for that perfect shot for their holiday greeting cards?
So that it involves a lot of treats, right?
Oh, does it?
To put a hat on a dog or sunglasses, or to have them stay and pose and look at the camera, you definitely want to use treats and positive reinforcement to get them to look over at you. By having a treat in your hand, their dog's going to automatically usually look at you, right? So to put an object such as glasses or hats on dogs, you basically want to make sure you're giving them a reward, so they know that when you're trying to put something on like that, they're not going to try to shy away, because some dogs don't like to wear, hats and things.
Yeah, but they do look so cute. I know that's probably not the best thing, but so have you had good positive experience with that then, and people are asking you to host birthday parties and other sorts of parties as entertainment?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, they'll reach out to me, or if they see that I do teach a beginner agility class, they'll reach out and say that they're really interested in joining.
So besides agility, do you teach therapy? Like if I want a therapy dog, or if I want to take my existing dog and turn him into a therapy dog, do you do things like that?
Yes, I've had experience with therapy. I had one dog myself that was a certified therapy dog for 2 years. And I teach AKC canine good citizen classes and testing, which basically help the dog to become a therapy dog, since the test is very similar to a therapy dog.
So what is good citizen? If somebody doesn't know anything about that program, what does that mean? Does that mean they're housebroken, or?
Yeah, so the AKC Canine Good Citizen is a program that the American Kennel Club created years ago. It's basically, if your dog passes this 10 items on this test, your dog is well known to behave in the community on a leash and behave around dogs and in public. So that the test was created to say, hey, my dog's well behaved, right? Because my dog passed this test. To be a therapy dog, your dog should pass that test, and then they should go on to take a therapy test. And that involves basically people that might be in wheelchairs or
Oh, okay.
walkers, and the dog has to be okay with that, right? To be a therapy dog.
Is that like opening up their fridge and getting a soda for somebody and giving it to them because
So,
they're in a wheelchair, or?
well, that's a service dog.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
therapy dogs are dogs that basically want to be petted, and people want to have them there for comfort and to be loved,
Oh,
right?
for
Service dogs
mhm,
provide a service,
mhm.
but a therapy dog is going to maybe assisted living homes or children's reading programs or hospitals. So two different things.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. And
yeah.
I'm understanding, and I don't mean to pause you. This has been a fascinating chit chat, but we need to take a short break. So we will be right back. Stay with us. We're going to keep getting some wisdom from Betty at Buddy's Boot Camp in Southern California. So stay with us. We'll be back in 2 seconds. And we are back, and we are continuing this fantastic. I am just so thrilled that we're able to talk to Betty, and we're going to be asking her a couple of different experiences that she's had in her past. So, Betty, would you be able to tell us about anything that you've had in one of your agility classes that you think really stood out?
Yes, I just had a recent class that just graduated. There was a dog in the class,
Hmm.
half border collie, half cattle dog, and
Oh,
he had some issues with. He was great at agility, except he had to overcome one of the obstacles he was afraid of. But he had some issues with kind of showing signs that came across as a fearful dog that could have looked
oh,
aggressive
so
towards people, but fearful with
anxiety?
dogs that yeah, well, a fear. So dogs that would
Oh,
approach the owner and him, he kind of was not comfortable with that. So whether he barked or kind
oh,
of lunged out. So
okay.
she did some sessions with me, and then
Hmm.
she joined agility, and she asked me, what is agility going to do for me and my dog? And the fact
Sure.
that he's got a little bit of fear with people that come up.
Hmm.
And I told her that it builds confidence, because when the dogs accomplish the obstacles, they really does build confidence.
Oh,
So she came to class, and by the third week, she told me that he was way more comfortable with people. So
really?
yes, so that's how that
Wow.
agility can really help,
Uh-huh.
because the dogs overcome something on the course that
Hmm.
they take with them in life.
Now, is
So
your agility class, is it a certain number of parts, or is it three sessions, or well, like what's your average class
I
length?
usually do a 4 to 5 week class,
Well, okay, so
and
that's like once a week,
once a week for 1 hour.
and you give them homework that they have to practice when they're home for the week?
Yeah, I usually give them verbal homework or tell them how to get their dog to achieve if they're having trouble with one of the
Hmm.
obstacles on the course.
Okay, have you ever been asked by anybody famous to train their dog, or have any celebrity stories that you want to
I
share?
do. I
Okay,
signed a disclosure, so I can't say exactly who the celebrity is.
that's okay.
But I did, someone very famous. I did
Hmm.
do an AKC Canine Good Citizen
Hmm.
testing for the two dogs that his family had. So I
Okay.
did do that.
Uh-huh.
But I signed an agreement, so I
No,
can't
no
say
worries. We're
who.
not here to dig up any dark secrets. We just want to know, what was the experience like? Is training a dog in Hollywood different than training a dog that just lives in a house and in the suburbs?
It's the same exact thing.
Okay,
I mean, it really is.
do you have to get them used to camera equipment and cables all over the place, or hot
well,
lights?
I mean, so in Hollywood, if you're having a dog on screen, yes, you should get your dog, if you want your dog in film and commercials, to be comfortable on camera. And how to do that is, I would definitely, when your dog's young, hire a professional photographer to start out.
Really?
Who brings the lighting and the cameras? Yes, because that can be very scary. But that kind of equipment is what is used most of that time, right? The lighting, all that equipment.
Yeah.
When you're getting a professional photo shoot, that's what it's similar. So start out with that first.
Okay. So baby steps. Now, if again somebody wanted to get their dog into commercials, would they come to you and you would help with the training and the grooming that's needed for stuff like that? Or
I can help with a little bit of that, as far as like if they're learning tricks and that kind of thing, tricks on the camera and how to get them to go to their mark.
Okay.
But ultimately, if they want to get some jobs booked, they would have to go and
get a proper
go out to basically some agencies out there.
Now, have you ever had a dog on a reality TV show?
I've had a dog on a reality TV show. Well, It wasn't, I guess, yes. I've had a dog on a reality TV show, my own dog.
Okay.
I did a lesson for Swedish Housewives of Hollywood. And then I did I was on a game show with my own dog.
Really? Game show? I didn't even realize dogs were on game shows. Look at that. You just taught me something.
Dog was on a game show. Yeah.
That is fantastic. So overall, we're here because we just love nature. And one of the best ways that people can express their love is through proper care of a pet. But when they first get a pet, like a new puppy, sometimes people have misconceptions about how easy it is to live with a new dog. So what has your experience been, or what advice could you give to our viewers about how to work with a new puppy dog when they're taking something home?
So right off the bat, with new puppies, a lot of people want to get a puppy and they'll want the puppy to sleep with them in the bed right away, or they don't want to leave the puppy for very long. And so what happens if you do that, it can create separation anxiety. Right off the bat, I believe in crate training, which there are people out there that don't like the crate training, but it helps with separation anxiety, and it helps with potty training. And it keeps your dog safe so they don't get into trouble. As far as if you haven't puppy proofed your house, they could chew on wires, or they could get into trouble.
Right.
So one of the things that I stress to my first time puppy owners is please get a crate, and please don't let the puppy sleep in the bed with you until they're older.
Now, what is crate training for people who don't know what that term is? Could you summarize it?
Crate training is buying one of the crates in the pet store, like it looks like a kennel, and they would be inside of the kennel, and they would sleep there. They would eat there. You would take them out for bathroom and potty breaks and play with them and get them used to that. And when they get used to it, it becomes a safe place as well. So it's a great training tool. And I tell everyone, you don't have to crate them forever. It's just in the beginning to get them through this, because a lot of people will contact me and say, my dog is now almost 5 months and is having separation and potty issues. And so come to find out, they were not crating them. They were not leaving them alone for an hour during the day, where would you leave your puppy alone? A crate is a safe place.
So what other misconceptions do you think people have about puppies when they bring them home?
I think that people expect them to be potty trained within like a few days.
So how long is reasonable to expect before your dog is fully housebroken?
It can be 5, 6, 7 months before your dog is fully potty trained. So sometimes even up to 8, even with all the work that you put in, it really does take that long a lot of times. And people have this perception that it's going to be done in a week. You know?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not so instant like sometimes social
It's
media. People are so used to something happening quickly. And you
And
gotta-
if they don't want to take the time and really work with that puppy,
Mhm.
if they hire someone, great. But if they don't want to realize that that's a lot of work in the beginning,
Mhm.
the benefit will pay off. But if they don't want that and it's too much work, because puppies
Yeah.
are fun, they're cute, but they take a lot of work. I say to them, if you can't do all that, or you don't want to hire someone to help you, then
Mhm.
you definitely need to adopt an older dog.
An older dog. So how old would a already trained dog be? Like 1 year old or
The dog, I would say between that, like 1 to 2 years old,
2 years
usually, if
old?
you can find, there's a lot of dogs that are 2 and up that maybe they already did training and they just didn't want the dog anymore. The dog was already potty trained or something like that. So
Okay.
they're out of that chewing stage. Around like 2 years old is a good age,
That's
right?
very good advice. We don't want
Yeah.
to have people returning dogs to shelters and things. So
Right. You get a puppy and then they just can't handle it anymore. So because they don't realize how much work goes into training.
so you have to be a therapist for the human to talk them through how to be a therapist for their own dog. So
Correct. Yeah. Training, a lot of it is training the human, that they train the dog, right? Training
got
the
it.
puppy.
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
Our audience, please stay with us. We need to take another short break, and we will be right back. So hang in there. We'll see you soon. And we are back. So we wanted to thank Betty so much for giving us those pearls of wisdom. And to contact her, just go ahead and look on the screen. But she has given us such amazing insight. Not only is she setting the record straight about how we should not assume that puppies are instant cute fuzzballs, which they are, but we cannot assume that they will be trained instantly. However, she has given us a resource herself in order to do some training. So Betty's shared her expertise today, but not only in Hollywood, but something that you can take home to your dog tonight. And she can even help you if you are out of town. So she is able to be very versatile. She'll make house calls, she holds classes, and you know what? If you're thinking about visiting Southern California, it might be worthwhile to think about taking a holiday break here and incorporating her boot camp as part of your holiday venture. So that way you can have a bonding experience with your family, enjoy the sights, and also learn a little bonding with your own dog. So we want to be able to diagnose your issues, we want to advise your issues, and help build that bond. And Betty's the person that can help you do that. So we want to thank Betty, and we definitely want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to learn a little new tip on how to bond with nature. So we want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. We appreciate everything that you've done, and we want to say, have a wonderful evening. And with that, until we bond again, we'll see you next time.